So I actually started off in high school, so I was kind of old. I was 15 when we started out, and the company was actually called My Yearbook at the time, because my brother and I started as a way to make new friends in our school. Now, starting out any company is a huge stressor. There's so many fears that come up, because there's this huge fear of failure. Like, what if it all just blows up in your face? What if your peers realize that you actually kind of stink? What if your team realizes, which would be much worse, that you stink? And what if, like, you just can't do it? And so starting out, I had all these fears. And I still have most of those fears of just not being good enough that this whole venture will fail. But for me, actually, I started to learn another lesson as we started getting going with the development, was that a lot of people don't really, or I wouldn't say a lot, but there are quite a few people that don't like successful people, and especially don't like successful girls. Because my brother didn't really have this problem in school, but I definitely did. What ended up happening is, as the company started to get more publicity, we were covered in a local newspaper, things like that, we started getting a lot of comments from our classmates. And a lot of the comments that seemed coming towards me were overwhelmingly negative from my classmates. There was a lot of people saying, well, you can't code. Why do you think you can do this? You don't have any history running a company or doing anything. Why do you think it's going to be a success? And then there were other situations where I wouldn't really call it bullying, but at the same time, I wouldn't really say I was bullied in school, because overwhelmingly people were positive. But at the same time, it's the negative comments that you remember the most. So I remember one time sitting in my Spanish class, the kid in front of me was saying how I was making him look bad to a bunch of people, which I didn't really care about because it's just some random kid in my Spanish class. But it started opening my eyes to negative comments that were coming from other people. So in my economics class, I was actually doing a live interview on Squawk Box, and my teacher put it on TV so that the class could see it, because it was on that class at 7:30 in the morning, so I decided to watch it. And when I came back to school the next day, a kid in the class started making fun of me for being incredibly fat, which I'm not. But at the same time, it's still hurtful when and he continued to torment me really for the rest of the school year, about how horrible I looked on TV, and just in general being mean. And there's another girl that actually this hurt even more, because I had actually been friends with her the year before, very close friends with her, who basically said I was a loser and a nerd and wouldn't amount to anything because of that. And so I kind of learned the lesson that, well, maybe I should keep these two lives separate, because clearly I'm having trouble connecting with my peers by having this company, and maybe I should downplay it a bit, don't mention it. And so as a result, I kind of kept it all bottled up, which made me completely miserable, because it's a ton of stress that you have when you're running a company like this. And when I say I was stressed out, I mean, after that Squawk Box interview I mentioned, I came home, crawled up into bed, and had a 104-degree fever. And there was nothing wrong with me. I was just that stressed out that I actually made myself sick. And I would have situations like that, but there was really no one to turn to. I had my brothers who I started the company with, but there were no outside friends I really wanted to talk about it with, especially if I didn't know them very well, because why give them more ammo? And so this continued. I kind of was living this double life until my junior year here at Georgetown. And that's actually when it stopped, because one of my professors actually kind of outed me in class. She came in and was just like, hey, so we have someone here that has a company that has this many million members. And all of a sudden, I was at this crossroads where I had to decide, okay, you know what? I should really open up about this and make some friends, actually talk to people about it. And it could make me that much happier. And so through this, I really learned that generally people were positive about it. And the people that, about having this, they thought it's cool to have your own company, especially when you're surrounded by people, like the people at Georgetown, that in general are ambitious and want the best for other people. And so that turned out to be a very positive experience. But at the same time, I learned that, I don't really care about all the people that are saying the negative things, because when it turns out they're definitely in the minority. And when it comes down to it, it doesn't really matter if people like you or not. It doesn't have any effect at all in the company. And so since having that realization and actually realizing that, I should be opening up to people and uniting my personal life with the ambitions I had for the company, I was able to be so much happier. Because now when there's these huge stressors at the company, when, for instance, we're going through a giant merger or something like that, I had friends I could talk to. I had people I could turn to and just, have a sounding board, get their opinions, and feel comfortable doing so. And I think, though it might be, living a double life might not be that common for people that have started out, I think it's actually a little bit more common than some people might think, because there might be some idea of you want to keep the two lives separate. You want to keep the life-work balance. And I think you really can't do that and enjoy both of them at the same time. So I think definitely by uniting the two lives, you can be happiest. So, thank you.